Alright, this was basically even throughout the entire night because of all the runs, so it really came down to the details in the matchups, because both sides were just looking to exploit mismatches throughout. A lot of it obviously stemmed from the stars, and the Pacers' main adjustment on Brunson was to have their bigs show off his screens, because in game 1, he was eating that space against the drop every time, so they were able to at least take that away. But it really didn't matter, because even when his actions got reduced to ones, he was still getting to his spots, especially against Nemhard, and that's one of the main reasons why he's as good as he is in a game of buckets. He's getting his with or without a screen, and that left shoulder fade was unstoppable throughout. But he didn't even need to attack the Pacers' bigs, because he can just as easily hunt Tyrese, so he was able to exploit Tyrese hedging or conceding the switch. A lot of it was in that two-man game with Mikal, and even Hart got a slip late to the rim in the final seconds off a messed up coverage, but it was really all about Mikal and Brunson throughout the entire fourth, because those two kept the Knicks afloat whenever the rock was in either one of their hands. The Pacers are still having their bigs drop against Mikal, so he just ate that space to get to his spots, and Brunson just continued to fry, so he managed to cut the Pacers' lead to 1 off that late 7-0 run, but he just couldn't top it off with a game-tying tray off a decent look. If it weren't for Siakam, it probably wouldn't have even came down to that shot, because he was basically matching Brunson the entire night, and he was just a go-to bucket getter for the Pacers. He put on a post clinic in the face-up or back down, and the only difference between his and Brunson's buckets was the shoulder preference, because he's mastered going over his right. He was just frying OG the same way he was frying a mismatch, so it didn't even matter who was on him, and he was just as effective off the rock, because he was always leaking out for an easy one or shot ready on the spot up. A couple of his trays came from Tyrese, and Tyrese getting downhill was the one thing he did well, because the Knicks were reading everything after what he did against their drop in game 1, so even though he missed shots, at least he was making the right pass whenever he did take a mismatch off the dribble. One of his sprays was even to Turner late in the fourth, and Turner was having himself a quarter, because the Knicks started having their bigs show instead of reading against the guards, but they looked confused with their coverages, so he kept getting open on the backside. If anything, it really didn't matter what the coverage was, because when they were reading throughout the night, they had to keep doubling or got caught overhelping on those mismatches anyway, so the Pacers kept punishing them for being out of position, and their defense was just out of sorts way too often. They just can't keep giving up the easy shots on top of the tough ones, because those compound throughout the course of 48, so they've got to figure out the defensive details if they want to avoid a sweep and try to win back home court advantage. Just watch the tape.